As the battle for the future of the Republican Party continues, there's one group that is having a surprising impact, and it's led by our Power Player of the Week.
We're looking for champions of economic freedom, people who believe in limited government, who believe in fiscal responsibility, individual responsibility.
Crist Chocola is president of the Club for Growth, a political advocacy group that supports lower taxes, less spending, and fewer regulations. But what gives the group clout is its ability to get its 40,000 members to back candidates the club endorses.
We kind of act like a good housekeeping seal of approval for conservative, pro-growth, free market-oriented candidates. And so our members respond.
You're not looking for someone who fudges the differences.
We're not looking for people who stick their finger up in the wind and try to determine what's popular.
During the 2008 election cycle, the club raised $24 million for politicians and issue ads. But it was the $1 million it spent for a special election this month in upstate New York that shook Washington. The club backed conservative Doug Hoffman against the Republican nominee. Both lost to the Democrat, but the real loser may have been the national GOP.
I think a message was delivered, and I think that there was some things that came out of that investment that were great.
The Republican Senate Campaign Committee announced it will stop endorsing candidates in primaries, leaving the choice to voters. Do you think that the party establishment here in Washington is out of touch with the real grassroots feeling around the country?
I'm not sure that the Republicans have learned the lessons of 2006 and 2008 yet. They're really looking for people that they think can win rather than people that stand for something, and I think really reflect the mood of the voters today.
Case in point, the Florida Senate race. The club is backing conservative Marco Rubio against Governor Charlie Crist, who was already endorsed by the national GOP.
We have great concerns about Charlie Crist. One day he says he supports the stimulus package, and then, recently he said, I never endorsed that, when clearly he did. People say, well, there's a civil war in the Republican Party. Well, I think the Republican Party really needs to stop and think and reevaluate their position and understand.
One thing that struck us was what wasn't mentioned. Where is the club on social issues?
We don't get involved in social issues at all. That's not our focus. It's not a litmus test.
Abortion?
We never asked.
Gay rights?
No.
Crist Chocola ran a farm equipment business before selling it to Warren Buffett. He then served 2 terms as a congressman from Indiana. But he says it's his business background that is most valuable.
I do think that it's an advantage to have people that wake up every day and say, how do I serve my customers better today than I did yesterday? And it's part of the problem with government. It's a monopoly. It's too big. It's, in fact, too big to succeed. We talk about too big to fail, but the government is too big to succeed. While the Club for Growth is directing much of its fire at Republicans these days, don't get the wrong impression. Chocola says they are nonpartisan, but the club has endorsed only one Democrat in its history.